Well, hello and welcome to tutorial 64 in this series of tutorials and programs that focus on TradeStation EasyLanguage. And in today's tutorial, we're going to be looking at how you can draw a line on a chart and then get information from that line using TradeStation EasyLanguage. So what I've done, I've created an indicator, and there's nothing there at the moment apart from some comments and legalese. And firstly, if we wanted to just draw a line on the chart using EasyLanguage, we've done that many times before. We'd probably do something like if last bar on chart, then, and we'd use the standard drawing keyword, TradeStation EasyLanguage keywords, and we do something like date, time. Let's just look at the chart and see what would be a good value. Say 1260, and then we do the date, say 20 bars ago. There's no logic in this. I'm just demonstrating how to use this particular reserved word from TradeStation, and we'll do it to 1260, close brackets, semicolon, press F3, and let's just see we've done something wrong there. What we need to do is assign this to a value, so I'm just going to use value 5 equals, and again F3, and if we now go to the chart, we should see a line drawn on the chart, and that's fine. But what if we want to draw a line using the drawing tools? I'm just going to draw a line like this, and we want to find out about that line. Well, we can do that pretty straightforwardly, and let me just demonstrate that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if bar number equals 1, so we do this at the beginning of the chart, or at least after the max bar's back, or last bar on chart, so we're updating it every new bar, every tick. Then we're going to create a variable called draw tool line ref. And the way that we find out the reference for the line is we use this thing called TL get first. And we don't just want any first, because as we've already seen, we've already drawn something on the chart using EasyLanguage. So actually we pass the number 7 here, and that's going to give us the value of the first line that's been drawn on the chart. And then if that is greater or equal to 1, I'm just going to copy it. What we're going to do is get some values from the line. So we're going to say if this is greater or equal to 1, then begin. And we're going to use several variables here, and I'll just create them as we go along. So we're going to call one of them end line date. Next one's going to be end line time, and then end line val. It's going to copy those, oops, while we're about it, so Control C. Then to find out the date, the end date, we're going to use the TL get end date, which is standard TradeStation. In fact, if you want to find more information, you just click on definition. It's one of the TradeStation reserved words, and you'll see some more information there in the help functionality. We don't really need that for the moment, because we know that what we need to put between the brackets is the draw tool line ref. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create the variables that we need. I've just already copied those into memory, so I'm just going to create these while we're about it, and I'm going to set them all initially as 0. And we also need to create this variable here, which again I'm going to set as 0. So let's just put that there. semicolon. Let's just close this to get a bit more space. So we need to do something similar to what we've done here for the date and the value. So just going to copy those there, and then we can just change the reserved word. So instead of date it's time, and instead of date it's val. Okay, so we're storing information from the line now in using our program. And if we were just to do end, I'm just going to verify this just to make sure. Yep, that looks fine. But if we go back to the charts, not actually doing anything at the moment. It may be taking, or it is taking information from the line that we've drawn, in other words this line here, but it's not doing anything with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw on the line at the end of the line the value, and we're going to position that right at the end of the line. And we do that using the text new function. So I'm just going to slot this in here like so, and I'm going to give it another name. I'm going to call it endline text ref txt ref, and that is going to be equal to text new, and we're going to position that at the endline date, endline time, endline val. And then in order to actually print the value, we're going to use the num2 string, because the text new is expecting a string. We're also going to use the val. I'm going to do it to 2 decimal places, close the brackets for the num string, close the brackets again for the text new, semicolon, and we need to create a variable for this endline txt ref, which we'll do. Just going to copy that and paste, give it an initial value 0. Press F3, and now if we go to the chart, what we should see is the value has been printed at the end of the line there. And what will happen if we move the line, provided that we're getting some price action happening, you'll see that the every time we get a new tick, that the value moves with it. Now what you probably noticed there is when I first moved it, we left behind a value that had already occurred, and what would happen is if we moved it, then we changed, there was a new bar. Rather than just moving the value of the text, we'd get the old text left there. So we need to be a little bit more sophisticated in our programming. And the way that we're going to do that, we're going to say if text exists, in other words, if we've already drawn this thing, underscore exist, and we're going to put in the reference, which is endline text ref, like so. And we're going to say if that is equal to false, then we're going to draw this text for the first time like we've already done. However, if it is, we don't need the semicolon there. However, if it is true, in other words, we've already drawn the text, then we're going to need to make some changes to the program. So we're going to do an else begin. I'm just going to tab in there, and what we're going to do is we're going to say text set location, and we're going to use similar functionality here, but slightly different because we're just changing the location. So the first thing we need to put in is the reference for the line, which is endline txt ref. Then we're going to put in the date, the time, and the value, the new value. What we also need to do though is we need to actually change the string, because we've not just changed the position, we need to change the value. We can do that using text set string, and again we need the reference for the text object, drawing object, and put that in first, and then the value is going to be the same syntax as we've got here. So I'm just going to copy that and paste that into there, semicolon. Then we just need to end the begin end statement like so. Going to press F3. Okay, we've got a problem here. Let's have a look what we've done. And what we've done is we've missed out a bracket from here, so I'm just going to put that in, press F3 again. Looks like we're good. I'll go back to the chart now. Hopefully what will happen now is when we move this, even if we move it and then go to a new bar, you'll see the value changing, and that seems to be working correctly. But there is one other thing. If we at the present time just to delete this line, then you'll notice that the text is still remaining there. So we need to make a small additional change to the program, and what we're going to do is underneath where we've created this is we're going to say if draw tool line ref is less than 1. In other words, we're checking to see if there is a drawn line ref. The first bar or bar number equals 1, also on the last bar on chart. So this is being constantly updated. And if it detects that there is no longer, or there isn't a line there, and that there is a drawing object with the number value on the chart, then what we need to do is delete that, and we use the text underscore delete to do that. I can just spell it correctly, and again we just need the reference of the text object there. So semicolon, press F3. Seems like we don't have any errors. Go back to the chart and you'll see that that thing has disappeared. So if we were now to redraw the line, so I'm just going to draw a line like so, and then if I were to delete the line, you'll see that the text also disappears. Okay, so far we've got a line, and we're finding out what the value of the end of the line is, and we're updating that when we move the line. What we might also want to do though is, for example, something like just create an average on the chart. We'll just call it average equals, or AV equals average of the close with a 14 period of 14 bars, and we're going to plot this average on the chart like so. So what we need to do is just create yet another variable called AV, which I will just do up here as before. Let's set it to 0 initially, and semicolon, press F3. What we should now see on the chart is we've got an average being plotted, which is great. So let's make this a little bit more sophisticated, and let's just work out how we could get the program to tell us when, for example, the average crossed above the line. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to check that we do have a line. And remember with drawing tools that one of the things that can be a little difficult is if you get any errors. In other words, you try and do anything to a drawing object that doesn't exist, TradeStation will just silently remove all the drawing objects from the chart, or in some cases it will, and you'll wonder where everything has gone. And one of the ways that you can trigger that is by trying to, for example, find the value of a line that is not actually there. So we're going to check that the line is there to start with. And we're going to say then begin, and what we're going to do is set up yet another variable. I'm going to call it line val. Could have just used value 1, value 2, value 3, but I thought it would be slightly easier to understand if I gave them names. And what we want to do is find out the value of our line. Again, we need the reference at the current date and time, like so. So I'm just going to create a variable for this before we forget and then get an error. Comma, semicolon. Okay, so that's telling us the value of our line at any particular bar. And then what we're going to do, we're going to say if AV crosses above line val. And then what we're going to do here in this particular case, we're just going to go then print date, time, and we're going to just say cross. Now, it's probably not super useful, but you could use this same sort of thinking, for example, in a strategy to instigate a trade if there'd been a cross or something like that. So let's just go begin and finish our end statement, and I think that's good. Let's just press F3. Okay, no errors. So let's just go to the chart, and we've already got a line drawn there. And if we look at the EasyLanguage print log, we should see where there's been a cross. So saying there's a cross the 16th at 12:07, and let's have a look. Now, one of the things that you can see here is that the line is not continued to there, but what TradeStation does, it notionally it goes back and, or rather, calculates how the line would be continued. If you were to actually go up here a little bit, we'd see that there were also crosses at 10:16, which is here, and probably even some earlier ones. But the line does actually go back and forward, extrapolating what the line would be. Now, if we were to clear this and move the line somewhere else, then we're not going to see those crosses, because the calculation was done going back and calculating on each bar, and just because we moved the line, it's not going to do that. If we wanted to see what the new values were, we'd have to do a Control R, and then we'll see where the new crosses are on the chart. Alternatively, if you wanted to tell you where those crosses were in real time, while the program is working without having to refresh, then you would have to work out some way of going back over the line using some sort of loop to find out what the values were historically. But the other thing that we could do is, for example, we could, using the last bar on the chart, we could say something like, if C crosses above line val, then print date, time, cross close, and just put in the close and the actual line val itself that we're trying to cross. And this is going to be updated on the last bar on chart. So provided that the cross occurs on that last bar on chart, then we should see this print statement appearing. So I'm just going to close the bracket there, close the semicolon, and just going to remove this statement for the moment so that we only see one print statement there. And let's just hope that the price action will oblige and we'll see a cross. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the line closer to where we've got the price action, and move it down a little bit. And what I might do is just zoom in here, and I'm just going to clear the print log there so that we will hopefully see the line cross. I'm just going to move it yet even closer, and let's see if we get a print statement when the line crosses. So again, this is something that you could use perhaps in a strategy to instigate a trade, or you could set up something in an indicator or a strategy to instigate an alert when your hand-drawn line was actually crossed by the close. So it's looking pretty close there. I think we may get across any second. There we go. So we'll see 12.27. The closing value is 12.59.75. The actual line value is 12.59.56. Anyway, I hope this tutorial has been useful, and again, if you're not part of our email list, then please go to markplex.com, and I'll be happy to let you know when I release new tutorials or programs. I also will be making this this program available for download, and we'll add some comments to it for that purpose. Thank you very much.